Hey everyone, it's Death Clock 1637 here. And certain chatter that came into my stream one day kind of set my brain off a little bit. So they were coming in and talking about Path of Exile and specifically about this game, Path of Exile 1, which I think is basically the best in class action RPG. They called it esoteric, and I want to try and break through that misconception because it's not as hard as you think. But there is a thing with this game where obviously knowing more things can get you further, but that shouldn't be a blocker for you getting into it. So, what I want to do is start off explaining only from the beginning on the beach just to get some basics out of the way. And I'm going to try and use very minimal terminology, just really what's required to get through this. So, really to, make it something, let's go hardcore solo self-found ruthless settlers. And we're really not going to find much of anything. Let's move myself here. And I want to really get the ruthless experience. I don't want to be able to do a lot of damage over time, and we're just explaining for the purposes of a tutorial. And really, in the main game, you're going to find a lot more. So I just want to set the stage for the fact that there's going to be nothing here, and I'm doing this mainly for the sake of explanation. So with that out of the way. I want it to be hard. I don't want to run away from Hillock at all. So let's go with the Marauder, and let's fix our capitalization. Yeah. So again, with the caveat, please note that dying is permanent. Ruthless is significantly different with item scarcity. Hardcore ruthless characters that die are voided and no longer playable. Are you sure? Yes. So we're going to start off on the beach. And what I'm going to do, again, for the sake of making this a little bit less cluttered, is skip all the tutorials. However, if you're starting off, I would probably suggest leaving them on. And I'm just going to take you through here. So like I said, I'm going to say skip. And what I'm going to do is press I for inventory. I'm going to make a couple of adjustments here. And this is mainly just for me. I'm going to move my scrolls of wisdom up here. Those are used for identifying items. And I'm going to make my flasking a little bit easier by moving this over. So why is that? Flasks would be on 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the number row on top. So I'm bringing them a little bit closer just for the sake of ease. So my character, I haven't moved yet. I'm going to escape to close. Obviously, you saw an inventory. I'm going to get to the end and cover that in a little bit more detail. But I'm going to click and have our guy get up. I need my basic attack for this. So I'm going to pick up this club. And I'm going to go and talk to this guy, skip his dialogue as his tradition, and just beat him up. So here I've dropped a skill. This is called Heavy Strike. There's a 20% chance to do double damage, and it has reduced enemy stun threshold. The other stats here are based on the weapon you have. So attack speed is 85% of the base attack speed. So it'd be 85% of 1.45. And then the attack damage is about 3.2 times. Yeah, about that. Because 100% would be double. This would be 3, and it's 224.3. So we put that into that red socket. This is important because this is linked to another socket, and we'll find a gem that fits into there later. But what I also want to do is, because I want to rely on my heavy strike to do damage here, I'm going to select the basic attack and set to move only. And for this mouse button, I'm going to do the same thing here. Your character loadout has 13 major slots, so it's going to be weapon, offhand, this can be a weapon or shield, helmet, amulet, ring, belt, gloves, boots, and armor. So that's the major stuff you start out with. And you have like a swap. Obviously, we don't have anything there yet, so we're not going to worry about it. Gold is going to be something we collect throughout the game. Basically, you will use it for a lot of purposes otherwise, but again, I'm not going to focus a little too much on that. So let's get going. So we're going to walk, and the general strategy through the beach is basically that we only want to focus on the last boss, which is a tutorial boss, and you can kill everything here, or some of it, but the problem is going to be that your flask will probably run out if you get hit. So we're just kind of conserving some life here. And I did click that barrel that did explode and get me for 5 HP. So here's Hillick. You might think he's scary, but he's actually kind of a pretty straightforward boss. We don't have a support gem. That's fine. It's Ruthless. So really, what I want to go through is some of his mechanics, because he's very slow, and I consider him very easy. So what we want to do is get him to focus on a point and start attacking us. And when he does, he's going to be stuck in that animation. So we're going to walk and brush him off. And then here's where we can hit, walk away. So we scored a hit. We haven't lost any additional HP. He's whacking at nothing. And we can keep going. Obviously, all these attacks use mana. I don't want to get hit. So we're going to have to use our flask. Gain some mana back. We missed. Our accuracy is a bit low. Is he at 50% yet? Not really. So he's going to heal. He's going to pull the sword out of his chest and gain some health. And then we're basically just staying on course to do the same thing. We missed again. Hey, that was a bad shot. So because there was a certain item unavailable in Ruthless, we're definitely taking more shots at this guy. And I can show it again without the extra explanation in regular trade league. So we got him. We got a thing called Quick Step, which is a movement skill. I believe this is specific to Ruthless mode. So we made it. We didn't die, and that's awesome, right? We have a whole bunch of stuff, stuff to interact with. We don't really actually have a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is do that again. Delete this character. And we're going to do that again, but on normal settlers. So we're going to go solo self-found. We can die here. And I'm going to show you the difference. And like I said, there's going to be more stuff. So this will help us sort of build on that terminology. And like I said, I wanted to keep it a little bit more baseline minimal. And this is something you're going to interact with much more often, I would say. So we're going to go solo self-found. We're going to go name our character again. And we're going to do the same things. So we have our tutorials. We have our item slots. we're going to move those scrolls of wisdom. I have some gold left over when I was practicing. So ignore this total, you'll have 0. But again, same inventory. We're going to skip all the tutorials, close out our inventory with escape. And we're going to stand up very slowly and pick up this club. So the beginning of the game is going to be pretty much the same in this aspect. We're going to beat this guy down, pick up heavy strike, same thing, slot it into our weapon. Now we're going to bump into something a little bit different. So I did point out that there's 2 slots, and here's where this makes a difference. 2 sockets, pardon me. I'm going to click this. I'm going to get something called a support gem. So if we take this and read it, we can see that every 3rd attack deals a ruthless blow. So what's that? Ruthless blows with supported attacks. Supported skills deal 70% more melee damage, 70% more damage with ailments caused by melee hits. And ruthless blows with supported skills have a base stun duration of 0.8 seconds. So a ruthless blow is every 3rd hit. Basically, an ailment is something that will be inflicted on an enemy to do something, like a stun is a big one. So we'll have a lot more power just with that 1 extra gem. So we're going to do the same strategy here. Just checking my inventory, closing that out. My weapon is basically the same. However, I now have this support gem, which augments what heavy strike does in the ways that I read. So we're going to walk by Hillock. We didn't take any damage this time from any errant barrels. So we have our 2nd hit, and boom, the 3rd one. He's stunned. We can go in for another hit. But every time, we're just making sure that he's, punching air and not hitting us at all. Other character classes do have more advantages here. So I tried to take a chance and hit him again during a stun, but the duration wasn't enough. That's fine. So here's where we win. So as you can see, a lot more stuff dropped. We got some gold. We got some blue weapons, a rusted sword, which, you can take this if you'd like. These will give you some currency when you sell them. And that can be something for a future video. And we also have 1 skill point. This is just the quest marker, and this is not really relevant. There's a thing called the Kirak Pass. All it does is give you items for certain objectives. So once again, we've made it into town. And like I said, this is really just one of those introductory videos to get you started and start introducing some concepts. So just on that, I'm going to end here. And I'm going to basically just see what kind of reception this video gets. And, if people want to see more of this, I am going to make another one of these to explain a little more of the town mechanics. But like I said, I did this on a character that doesn't really have any other mechanics other than hit thing very hard. But anyway, the goal will be to help change people's minds and help them understand that, the game doesn't have to be that intimidating. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you on stream.